Ina here. I'm so happy that you're here today because, okay, to tell you the truth, 3 minutes ago, I didn't have any makeup on. I was wearing clothes that I just threw on this morning, and I really felt inspired to come and chat with you. Let me turn off here some sounds. My son, baby, is sleeping, so that's when I get to do work nowadays. Hi, if you've never run into me before, if you've never seen my stuff, if you have no idea who I am, hi, I am Ina Coveney and I am a salary replacement strategist. That's what I do. I help people who are working full time, who have all of these ideas and they have all these grit and go get itness to make things happen, but they have no idea which one to pick, or they know which one to pick. They just don't know how to turn it into a real business so they can replace their salary. That's where I come in. I tell them all the strategy, the mindset work, the stuff that they need to do to actually make that a successful transition without quitting your job. Please don't quit your job yet. All right. So I tell them, this is what you do. This is how you set up your business. This is how you get out on social media. This is how you create an online business you can do from home. So you can have all the flexibility you want. You can decide what to do, when to do it, because you want to do it. You can choose who to work with. Like all the stuff that I've been doing in my business, I turn around and I teach others how to go and make the jump and do. So that's what I do. Right? That's who I am. And so I felt inspired to come here and tell you a little bit of what that is like. And this inspiration came because I've actually been talking to a few people recently who they're exactly where I was when I was starting out. Right? When I was starting out, I mean, I was in corporate for 15 years, right? And I loved what I did. I was a project manager in the software world, right? I would tell developers what to do and when to do it and how to do it and prioritize. And I use Jira, Gemini, I mean, you name the tool, I used it to do project management, right? To make sure that products get out on time. I did release management. I spoke to clients to make sure that all their needs were being met. I got my team all streamlined so that they wouldn't feel the burnout, right? I was the middleman so that clients wouldn't go straight to the developers and create fires. And I loved what I did and I was really, really good at it. All right. So I want you to know that this doesn't come from a disgruntled employee or somebody who was trying to find herself and didn't know what to do. And therefore she stumbled upon this thing. No, this business is something I'm doing extremely intentionally. So I wanted to tell you a little bit of how this happened. What am I doing here and how did I get here? But let me tell you one thing, because this is what I decided to name this particular training session. This is a mini training session, all right? And for you guys who don't know, any of the stuff that I do, there is actually a Facebook group that you can join where I do trainings all the time. And that is at inacoveney.com/Facebook. And I'm going to put it in here. Actually, well, that's the link if you just want to get to it really easy, but you have to spell Coveney right. It ends in EY. Or you can just right here on Facebook, go to Trailblazing Out of Corporate Life for High Achievers and Go-Getters. I just put it in the comments for you. So I'm there all the time. That's my home. That's where I hang out with my peeps. All right. So if you identify with that, if you're thinking, oh, I just don't want to work in corporate anymore. I just don't want to do this anymore. Even if you love your job like I did. Nobody's saying you hate your job. Nobody's saying that your life is going to be miserable if you don't do something that you love right now. It's not going to be miserable. You're probably going to stay in your job. You're going to continue to get promoted. You're going to continue to get salary increases. And you're going to reach retirement age. Your children will have money in the bank for their college. And your life will be fine. If that's okay with you, then this is not the training for you. But if you are the kind of person like me who really didn't want to just be fine, right? For whom fine, it feels like a failure. If I had gotten to retirement, this was, guys, my biggest fear when I was working in corporate. My biggest fear was to retire from the company that hired me out of college and to not have done anything differently. Because I knew I had potential. I knew I am very smart. I knew I could figure new things out. I was constantly trying new things. So I'm like, this can't be it. This can't be it. I can't live my life on mute, right? I wanted a life in full color. I wanted to know that I had tried everything because I had proven to myself that I could do anything. So why wasn't I out there and doing it? Why was I putting up with all this junk at work, right? So that's just a little bit about me, but a little bit about you, right? I would love to know from you, if you're watching this, if you're watching the replay, if you're watching this right now, I'd love to know from you, like, where you are, right? Does this resonate with you? Like, are things at work okay? Are things at work, making you think that you want a different job? Like, this is something that I run into all the time, right? Of wanting to quit my job. And it wasn't quit to start a business. It wasn't quit to do something else. It was just quit. I want to try something new. So I would go on job searches. And I would go and find a new job. And I became really good at interviewing, right? It was one of those things that I would just walk into an interview and I would just own it, right? Because I didn't need a new job. So I kind of got like a little bit of practice with interviewing. And but there was one thing that was on my resume that would make me stand out by a lot. And I didn't know it at the time because I've always been on search for myself, right? On search what my purpose is in life. I have this diary that I've kept since the first 6 months that I was out of college, where I basically just go on rants. I'm like, this is not what I'm meant to be doing with my life, but what is it? What am I supposed to be doing? These are all the things that I want to try. So I've tried everything, guys. In my search for finding meaning, I tried everything. I looked into applying to med schools, having no biology background at all. I volunteered at hospitals just to be near that life, just to be near just medicine, right? Because I thought that was my passion. Then, I would go and volunteer at a suicide hotline. I did that for 9 months, doing overnight shifts. I learned a new instrument, right? I picked up the violin and then I picked up the piano. I started learning organic chemistry, thinking that, maybe someday I will actually go to med school. I tried so many things, guys. You know what I tried? I tried stand-up comedy because I'm really good on video. Like, I can be on stage. I did theater in high school. So I'm like, let's try stand-up comedy. Maybe that's my future, right? I tried so many things, guys. So I would love to hear from you if this sounds like you. If you're working at your job, which you like, you have no reason to leave it, but you're here thinking, what else could I be doing? What else should I be doing with my life here? And you try a million things. I started a podcast back in 2012, right? When like podcasting was still young, podcasting was really not a big thing. I started one, right? I'm just like, okay, let's just get on and interview people. And that's what I did. So I was doing all these things that I'm doing now for a living. I did back then because I just liked it, right? Interviewing people. Now I have a podcast. It's called Corporate Trailblazers with Ina Coveney. I'm going to put it in here too, just the Facebook page of it, Corporate Trailblazers. But you can find it also wherever you listen to podcasts. It's right here. It keeps disappearing. The Blazers. There it is. You can actually just find it anywhere you listen to podcasts. But if you go to inacoveney.com/iTunes, if you are on iPhone, that'll take you straight to the podcast. So I have a podcast now. Like, I used to do that just for fun, right? To find myself. So I'd love to hear if any of this is resonating with you. And I'd love to hear, like, what are the things that you've tried, right? All the crazy things that I tried. Like, I had no business, like doing all these things, but like I needed to find meaning because I knew that I wasn't getting it at work, even though I liked what I did. It's not what I wanted to do in the long term. I was just trying to find meaning for my life. So for you, it could be cooking, it could be knitting, it could be hosting parties, it could be traveling, it could be visiting breweries. Like, what is that thing or those things that you think, wow, I really love doing this. Maybe I should try starting a business with it. Like, I would love to know. So I have a little poll here. I'm actually not sure exactly how to show them to you. I'm hoping that it's just appearing right here. Like, I have a couple polls that are associated to this live, right? It says create poll, see video insights. It doesn't tell me that I can actually show you the poll. But if you see it, I have a poll in here, or just answer in the comments, okay? That says, how many business ideas have you come up with in the past year? Right? I want to know that, like, what are the things that are coming through your mind? So I want to tell you how I stumbled upon my business ideas. Because like I said, I wasn't looking to start a business. I was just trying to find meaning in my life. I was just trying to find my purpose. So here's what happened. In my search for trying to find purpose, one of the things that came up, because I had just gotten my MBA in entrepreneurship, no less. Like, those things have been looming, but I had not taken any action. So in my search for meaning, I decided, I kind of stumbled upon this. Somebody contacted me, somebody I knew from college contacted me, and they said, my friend needs help with her website. Can you help her? I said, sure. So I helped her a little bit. And she paid me, and I didn't expect that. I actually wasn't going to take any money out of it. I'm like, no, I'm just doing it as a favor to my friend. She's like, no, this is a business. I'm going to pay you. You're a vendor. Okay. So I took the money. It's like $99 or something. And I'm like, like this is me like shuffling the bill. Like, could I actually do this? Like start a business? And this was while I was on maternity leave with my first son. This was back in 2011. And I'm like, could I actually do this? So I'm like, well, I'm going to need a portfolio. I'm going to need something to play with. So I walked down to my local diner. I always say like walk down, like waltz in, but I drove down to my local diner, whom I loved. I loved them. They had the best fresh squeezed orange juice ever. And the best, like they call them the Elvis Presley pancakes. It was like pancakes with peanut butter chips and bananas and what else? I don't remember what else. Like just maple syrup. Oh my God, it was so good. So I went down because I noticed that they didn't have a website, and I went with my little blazer, right? I wanted them to take me seriously. So I went down. I'm like, hey, I'll make your website for free. And they're like, okay, sure. That's fine. We don't feel like we need one, but sure. So I made their website and I posted it on Facebook. And then somebody else gave me a referral for a client that I currently have. I still have this client. And then somebody else referred me to somebody else. And then somebody else noticed that I was doing this. So I started to get just business from word of mouth. Here's when we started to get into the fatal mistakes. Guys, are you guys ready for the fatal mistakes that you should not make when you have a side hustle? Okay, here's the deal. I wish somebody had told me this. I wish somebody had posted this back then to tell me exactly what to do, what not to do, because the way that I went about it, my life was not going to change. My life was going to stay exactly the same. I was just busier than normal because now I had a side business. That's not the point. The point is to do something that fires you up, that could eventually replace your salary so that you can be your own boss and have that flexibility and not have an income ceiling anymore. You guys know what I mean? So I did have another poll in there because I wanted to know, I asked you just like how many ideas have you come up in the past year? I want to know if you've ever tried to act on them. Okay, so I have another poll in there, but if you don't see the poll, because I don't see it as I'm going live, so answer me in the comments if you have already started trying to get that idea off the ground. If you've already started kind of trying to start the business. And the answers in the poll, I believe, was like, nope. The answer was sorta. And the other one was yes. Okay. The only way that you can say yes is if you've made money with it. Okay. Otherwise, you're in the sorta category. But if you've taken no action, if it's just been thought, then you're in the no category. All right. So tell me, guys, I want to know like where you are in this journey. So back then, yeah, I had started to make money. So I would be in like, yes, but I wasn't there, guys. I was not thinking this was going to replace my salary. In fact, my mindset was very small. I was thinking very small. I was acting very small. I was like, no, this is just a side business. I don't care about the money. Big red flag. You find yourself saying, I don't care about the money. That's a big red flag, because what kind of a business can run and be successful when the owner pushes away money? Now you may be thinking, well, I'm not pushing it away, it's just not coming and I'm okay with it. No, by not caring about the money, you are pushing it away, and that's why it's not coming to you. Okay, period. So I'm starting to get ahead of myself because I'm starting to get a little bit excited. So I wanted to tell you what the 3 fatal mistakes are when you start your side business. If you wanted to replace your salary and eventually do it full time, I'm going to start with number 1. And number 1 is do not work on your money mindset. All right. So if you find yourself, and I'm going to put it in here, number 1, fatal mistake number 1, fatal mistake number 1, do not work on your money mindset. Deadly. What kind of a business doesn't care about making money? So here's the deal. I am not a mindset coach. Okay. You guys are going to hear me repeat this like incessantly. I'm not a mindset coach, but I find myself having to teach my clients about mindset because I can't, in good faith, give them all the strategy in the world, right? Like I could give them a footprint. All right. I could tell them, here you go. This is exactly what you do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go and do it. If the mindset has not been set up to accept money, to understand what your hangups with money are, you're not going to make it anywhere. You're going to continue to think, I'm just doing this on the side. I don't really care about the money. And that's really going to affect your pocket. It's going to affect your bottom line immediately, because that means that you're not going to price your services right. You will end up giving work away for free. Okay. And these are deadly ways for a business to go and disappear. These are big, big reasons why most entrepreneurs fail within their first year, is not having figured out that the money is actually important, all right? That you deserve to make that money because you're providing a valuable service, and that what you do with that money has nothing to do with greed. It has nothing to do with just having a luxury life. That's one of the first things that my clients tell me in the beginning when I ask them, what would you do with the money? The first words out of their mouth, which has nothing to do with my question. Like, the question is, what would you do with the money if you had $1 million? You know what they say? Oh, I don't care about big riches or anything. I'll just live in the same house. You didn't answer my question. What would you do with the $1 million? If you don't know what you would do with it, you're not going to learn to grow into it. You're not going to know to expect it. You're not going to get it. Forget about that $1 million if you don't even know what you would do with it. The correct answer would be, if you're not like a greedy person, which you're not, right? Because this is how you're thinking, right? It's okay to accept money and be humble. You know what you do? You volunteer. You give it to charities. You create foundations to help people who have been there where you are. The more money you make, the more people you're able to help. The littler money you make, the less money you make, the less of an impact you have, right? And the less happy you're going to be. Can money buy happiness? No, but it's true that if you're not meeting your full potential and you know it and you're aware of it, you're just not going to be happy, right? So it's not all about the money. So you can stop thinking about that. I'm talking about being rich. I am talking about you accepting money so that you can grow, so that you can help others, so you can have a richer life, right? That is not just, well, I don't care about the money. I make enough to make my bills. You know what happens to people who think that way, and then they get laid off from their job? They're not ready. They're not prepared to take another step. They have to immediately find another job, and that's a hassle. What would it be like to actually be financially free, to make your own money and to help others with it? Money has such a bad stigma in our society, when really is what gets things moving and is what gives the most help. So you have to figure out how to step into your healthy money mindset self, so you can see money as an opportunity rather than something to push away. That's fatal mistake number one, is to not work on your money mindset, to not even be aware of it. Mistake number one. Mistake number two, to do this on your own. You guys, when I started making websites, I was making about $500 a month, which is not nothing, right? I was making $500 a month within that first year, and of recurring income, of just helping people with their sites. Sometimes I would get a big, website project, and I would make a few $1,000s in that project, right? So to me, because I was already making a lot of money working full time, this was pocket change. Yeah, I felt good, right? I don't really need help. I don't really need to go anywhere else. Guess what? When I started finding out all the things that I was doing wrong, right? All the things like not building an online audience, right? So that you can actually help more people. Not thinking of, this could be a bigger business, right? When I was just sitting in my corner in my computer, just typing away and just coding away, I was not realizing the potential of my business. So I didn't get anybody's help. I didn't want anybody's help. I didn't need anybody's help. I'm making $500 a month, and I was busier than ever. There's a much better way to get to a better point in your life than to just work your butt off day and night for $500 a month, right? So one of the big things, in fact, I don't consider this pivot of my business, my coaching services, my being out in online media, like, I don't consider this pivot of my business having started when I first started to realize that I needed to do it. That's not when it started. It started, like, its birthday was the day that I started working with an online coach, with a business coach, somebody who had been there, who could tell me, these are the things you need to do, and who let me know that I had money mindset issues. Working with a coach is something you're going to hear everybody talk about. In fact, I am doing right now an online summit, and it's kind of like a really stuffy name, but I basically got all of my friends who created businesses doing something they love, right? Like we have copywriters, we have somebody who's written 7 books and self-published them, and this is how she makes her living, writing for a living. I have somebody who does translations for a living, somebody who does homesteading, like gardening, for a living. Like this is a whole series of interviews, right, that I am hosting this month of March. So if you're listening to this after the interviews are over, the interviews are end March 28th, right? So I'm doing all of these interviews, and everybody is bringing up the fact that they had a coach, right? Everybody's saying like, I needed help. In fact, I interviewed John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneurs on Fire, and he, without me prompting him, he told me, I'm giving you a little bit of a preview because that interview has not aired yet, but he gave me a little bit of a preview. I'm giving you a little bit of a preview. He told me I wouldn't have been able to do this without a coach, without somebody who has been there and who tells me exactly these are the steps that you need to do. These are the steps you need to take. So get yourself some help. If you really want this to work, don't keep thinking, you know what? I thought that myself. I'm very smart. I know how to use Google. I can do this myself. From the moment that I found out about this online business until the moment I got my coach was 3 years. How much did my business advance? 0. Now you can say, oh, I'm different. I'm actually going to do it. Go ahead. But I spent a whole year working on my freebie, right? Working on my free offer to give to people, to post on my website, all that stuff. A whole year working on it, and it never saw the light of day because it's really hard to coach yourself. Get yourself some help. This is something that I do for my clients, is getting them to the next step and to the next step and to keep them moving and to keep them moving. If you're serious about this, you will want that kind of accountability and that kind of muscle power, that kind of assistance telling you these are the things that you do. All right. So don't do this yourself. Get yourself a really good coach, somebody you trust, somebody you like, somebody who's going to encourage you, not put you down, somebody who's been there, who you've seen online do incredible things. Go with that person. Find out what one-on-one services they have. Educate yourself on the pricing for coaches. Educate yourself on what coaches are great. Read testimonials. Talk to people who have worked with coaches. Do your due diligence, right? You're a very smart person. I know that because you are here. You're listening to this talk. That means that you're not a complainer and you don't settle, right? I know that just because you've listened this far, 22 minutes and 23 minutes in. All right. So do your due diligence the same way you would do with everything else, but get yourself some help. And the last fatal mistake. Oh, I didn't write this down. Fatal mistake. Fatal. I wrote fatally. Fatal mistake. Number 2 is going it. I think that's a phrase, right? Going it alone. All right. And let's go to fatal mistake number 3. Not validating your idea. I'm going to write that. Not validating your idea. It's out there. It's in the world. You guys, without idea validation, you have no idea. You have no idea how people are going to receive what you put out there. Let me try to say that in a different way. When I started, I didn't validate my idea. My idea is to make websites, right? I didn't get myself an ideal client. I didn't put myself out there. I didn't create a sales funnel. I didn't create an irresistible offer to attract more clients. I didn't. I was just flying off the seat of my pants, kind of waiting for somebody to magically find me, right? There are much faster ways to do this, and it is by knowing exactly who your ideal client is and what they need from you. And I'm going to tell you right now, you are not your ideal client. So whatever it is that you have in your head, you don't know what these people are struggling with. Excuse me. And without knowing that, there is no way that you can grow this fast enough or richly enough, right? Make the money that you deserve, charge the prices that you deserve, and charge the prices that are going to make other people show up for themselves. Because there's a really tricky thing that pricing does, and that is that if you price your services too low, you're only going to attract people who were only willing to spend $20. You know why? Because there's no risk. It was only $20. It's like getting a free t-shirt. I got it. I'm happy I got it. I never wore it again. It was free. It's fine. If it gets ripped, if it gets dirty, that's fine. It was only $20, right? Or it was only free. That's what happens with pricing services. While if somebody gave you a t-shirt and sold it to you for $5,000, right? I'm not saying it's going to be a t-shirt, maybe like a designer blouse or whatever it is for $5,000, you bet your hiney you're going to be sending that to dry cleaners. You're going to wear it on special occasions. You're going to take really good care of it. That's what happens with pricing. You attract the kind of people who care more about that thing that they bought. So I was talking about validating your idea. So when you know what the struggle is, right? And you can put it out there and you can say, I can help you with this. You can start to select what kind of ideal client you want. Who do you want to help with what? But you may be, if you don't do the validation, you may be attracting people who are not ideal clients for what you're offering, right? Who just signed up because, hey, that's cheap, right? Okay, I'd like more information, right? But you're not really taking in clients that you really, really wanted to attract, that you really, really wanted to work with. So idea validation becomes huge. So you're thinking, okay, what is idea validation? It's basically doing your market research. It's finding out, first of all, defining who your ideal client is, right? Who can you help? Find out what they need and give it to them. All right? That's basically the process of idea validation. So don't start a business without talking to people first. And I do mean talking to them, not texting, not reading about them, not sending them an email. Talk to people about your idea and really find out what they're struggling with. So here's the deal. I just told you the basic 3 fatal mistakes, right? That corporate people, especially us, right? Like us corporate people make when we start the side business, right? But I know that because you're here and you've listened this far, 27 minutes in, right? I know that you're thinking about this seriously, that this is something you definitely want to like put your best foot forward and say, you know what? I don't want to find another job. I don't want to go to any more job interviews, right? I don't want to do that anymore. I want to know what it takes to really go into business for myself, on my own, create my own schedule so I can be there for my kids, create my own schedule so I can be free. I don't have to ask anybody for permission to take a day off to watch the Michael Cohen congressional hearings. Oh my God, guys, that's like the best part of working from home is able to watch all these congressional hearings. I remember working in corporate when the James Comey hearings were happening, and all day long I'd be going to people, I'm like, is anybody else thinking about these hearings right now? Like, I wish I could be home right now to watch these things. So like, you may have your own reasons, right, to work from home. That's a big one of mine. Like, have the news like in the background. I love the news. I love my politics. Anyway, you're not supposed to bring up politics and religion and stuff like that, right, in like a public setting, but I think I just did. So anyway, I love watching like my MSNBC and my like all the hearings and stuff. So like working from home has been amazing for me. I get to pick up my son from school every day, which is amazing. I remember when I was in corporate, I was struggling to make it so that he wouldn't be the last one to get picked up and after school, but sometimes he would be, because after school closes at 6 o'clock. After school is that like kind of like daycare after school is over, because school ends at 2:45. As a working woman, I could never make it at 2:45. Forget about it. 6 o'clock was more doable, but there were times that I was working late and I'm frantically calling people. I'm like, who can pick up my son from school, right? Or he would have a play, or he would have like an act, or there would be something to go to do at the school, and I couldn't do it because I was working full time. Or there'd be a big snowstorm and the kids had to stay home from school, but I had a day packed of meetings that day. What was I gonna do? Right? Nowadays, I'm in full control of my calendar, right? And I'm in full control of my income, having worked on my money mindset, which by the way is an ongoing effort. It's not something that ever like really like ends. Still working on my money mindset, but I know that my income in the future is going to be exactly what I pictured it to be. Not because it's just going to come to me magically, but because it's a goal. It's not a wish. It's a goal, and I'm working towards it. While when I was in corporate, I could hope to get a 2 to 5% raise, or maybe 10% if I negotiated a little bit harder. I didn't want to be in that situation anymore. Now I really have my eyes set on, I know how much money I want to make and how I'm going to use that money. So important to put a purpose to it so that you don't feel greedy, so that you don't start beating yourself up and tearing down all that mindset work you've done, right? You need to know what you would do with the money, and it's got to be something that really fills you, something that motivates you, right? So I'm starting to like derail here, but what I wanted to tell you was, you probably, if you're anything like me, you probably have a lot of ideas that you're thinking of. You probably have a lot of ideas brewing. And I wanted to tell you that I'm actually teaching a free workshop to tell you how to narrow down your idea. So here's the deal. Back in the end of February, I put out a call to my audience and I said, I would love to work with a few of you full-time, not full-time, one-on-one, to help you get clarity on your idea so that you can move on to idea validation. So what is it that you want to work on? So I got like 5 brave souls to trust me with their indecision, right? They gave me a whole list of like, these are the things that I want to do. I just don't know how to turn them into a business. I don't know which one I should be going with. And these 5 souls went through several techniques that I taught them, went through several exercises that I guided them through, and they've all achieved a sense of clarity. All right. And for some, it was a little bit more difficult than others. All right. For some, not difficult, but it just took a little bit longer. Right. So I couldn't use the same techniques with some people as I did with others. Right. Like I tried it, cross-contaminating, right? I tried like using different techniques for different people and they were not working until finally one clicked. So what I have is basically an arsenal of techniques to help you narrow down your idea so that you know that what you're starting out with is something that you love, is something you're going to be motivated by, and something you're not going to want to quit after a couple months in. All right. So I gathered all of those techniques and I'm turning them into this really beefy workshop, completely free, completely online. And I wanted to invite you to it. To go to it, just go to inacoveney.com/creativity. And you can see it actually right up in the description of this live. In the description of this training, inacoveney.com/creativity, but you have to spell Coveney right. It ends in EY, right? And I really want to see you there. It's going to be at night so the kids can be down and you can just get your mug with whatever you like in your mug, water, coffee, hot chocolate, tea, whatever it is, and just come and listen to all these techniques that worked for other people on achieving clarity on their goals and what they really wanted to do. All right. So if that's one thing that you're like really struggling with, like you have all these ideas, you just don't know how to narrow it down, come to this masterclass because I'm going to tell you all these techniques so you can see which one applies to you. Because like I said, this is not one size fits all, right? So I'm going to have to tell you about what all of them were so you can find the one that works for you. How does that sound? All right. I'm super excited about it. It's happening March 27th and I can't wait. March 27th at night. Go to this link, inacoveney.com/creativity. All the details are there. All right. And yeah, so if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Just write a comment in this live. Like it's just as simple as that, right? You don't even have to like go and dig through and try to find my email address. Which by the way, if you are getting my emails, which you can start getting. You're going to start getting my emails by signing up. You can just reply to any of the emails that come to you and that gets straight to me. Okay, so you can ask me questions. You can just leave a comment in here just to know if this is the right step for you, if this is the right training for you. Okay, so I think that's all I had for you. 34 minutes in, not too bad for a quick training. And I have to go check on my son to see if he's going to wake up anytime soon. But thank you guys so much for listening to this. I really hope this was helpful. I hope this gives you a little bit of validation that you are on the right track. The things that you're thinking about are totally possible. Don't let anybody tell you it's not possible. Don't let yourself put you down and say, well, the only way to make money is to really have a real job. Screw that, right? Make your own life. Don't let anybody else get in your head, okay? Come to this session. It's going to be super, super good, and I really want to see you there. All right, guys, inacoveney.com/creativity, all right? inacoveney.com/creativity. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment if you like this. Give me a like, give me hearts. Show me that you're there so that I know this is not going out to crickets, and I will see you guys soon. All right, bye.